In today's matchup, we have the Kraken from Clash of the Titans versus the Karathen from Aquaman. The Kraken is, as quoted, the end of us and a colossal elemental beast that even the gods feared. And the Karathen guarded the trident from false gods in Aquaman for millennia, and is a colossal sentient sea creature, the oldest and most powerful creature on Earth. And I think the most important thing to talk about first is the size, because I have been researching and looking at both of these creatures in their own movies, trying to figure out which one is bigger, what the exact sizes are, and I know that someone for the visual effects team for Aquaman did say that the Karathen is 2 miles long, which, while I still have my doubts about if that's completely accurate, I could believe it with how the tails are on the Karathen and how long the tails are. But as far as the size goes for the height and the width, I really do think that both of these creatures are right around the same size. I know the Karathen can stand on all of its limbs lower to the ground, but when standing on its back legs, I do feel it's right around the same size, if not a little bit bigger, because if you look at the pictures, like this picture from the Kraken, seeing the size comparison between the Kraken and a human right there, Perseus, and when you see that size comparison, and then you look at a picture like this, of the Karathen, you see Aquaman on the top of the nose of the Karathen. I really do think they look right around the same size. You look at the overall size of the Karathen with the size of Aquaman, a picture like this makes me think that the Karathen's way bigger, but then you get another picture like this, which is kind of more like concept art, where it really does look like the Karathen and the Kraken are right around the same size, right around the same height and width. The main way I look at these size comparisons is usually by the head, and both the head of the Karathen and the Kraken are right around the same proportion of the body. So that's why in this fight, I really have to say I think the Karathen is a little bit bigger, but for the most part, they're right around the same height and width. And as far as what these two have going into battle, the Kraken really from the waist up is really like a human, in the way that the Kraken has the 2 arms and hands that are just like a human, will be able to use the same exact way, obviously though he's giant, and has 4 main legs. This is how he actually moves around, at least on land. We know he can swim very fast, and the Kraken also has tentacles and goes into battle with sharp, serrated teeth. The Karathen goes into battle looking more like a kaiju from the Pacific Rim universe, and has, instead of 2 hands like the Kraken, has 2 crab claws for each hand, has 6 main legs that allow him to stand upright, and which would make him a lot taller and right around the same height, if not taller than the Kraken. Also has a large mouth with lots of teeth. And as far as feats go for the Kraken, obviously the Kraken has so little screen time, and it really sucks that he had that little screen time, but that's all I have to work off of. I'm really just sticking to this main movie, and all you really see the Kraken do is stand up, growl, and the only really sense of battle you get from the Kraken is when the Kraken actually tries to eat Perseus, reaches out and bites and tries to eat the Pegasus he's on, and that's really the only sense of battle you get from the Kraken. But from that bite, you can still get a sense of how quick the Kraken is with how he reaches his neck out and tries to bite Perseus. You can still get a little sense of how quick he is in that little scene there. But on the other hand, for Karathen, the Karathen has so much coin in that movie, so many feats. It bursts out of the ground with lava, growling, having lava all over him, just growling straight up at the sky, and takes fire from hundreds of Atlantean ships all at once, crushes one ship with just one leg, throws another huge ship against another ship, but is taking so much fire from so many different ships at once and is just doing nothing. It's doing absolutely nothing, not injuring the Karathen at all. One rocket does seem to hit him in the nose, and he does growl in kind of a way that you think he kind of gets injured, but you can't tell any part of that battle where he actually gets harmed, and you see a piece of him actually break off or anything like that. And the Karathen just takes fire from, like I said, hundreds of Atlantean ships all at once, taking all this fire, and it just keeps going. You actually see him swim through the water pretty quickly, and after he flies up, you do later see the Karathen bite a ship, and that's, for the most part, that's all you see with the Karathen and as far as battle goes. But if these two were lined up and ready to battle, obviously the first thing that needs to be stated is that we only saw the Karathen in the water, and we only saw the Kraken on land. So that is a very difficult thing to decide. we all know that the Kraken swims really fast, and it actually swam to where it actually came out of the water. So we know the Kraken can fight in the water for the most part, but we've only seen the Kraken on land, and we've only seen the Karathen in the water. But with how quick the Karathen was in the water, we know that he'll be able to fight just as fast, if not faster, on land. For this fight, I will have it on land, but basically the Kraken has the hands that would be able to grab and the tentacles to be able to distract the Karathen, but I really do feel that the Karathen has the right weaponry on his side. With the claws, I feel the claws would be very effective, might be actually able to injure the Kraken in this battle. Now we know both of these creatures are very, very tough and are basically both invincible, so that's why this fight, for the most part, would just be an epic showdown of just invincible creatures. I do think the Karathen has the size on his side. I do feel he's a little bit bigger, not too much bigger. He's obviously way longer because, as stated, he's around 2 miles long, which I still don't think that's completely true, but he's definitely longer, and he definitely has longer tails, which would be very effective. But if these two creatures were lined up, I really do feel that while the Kraken would definitely be tough with the bite force and how quick you actually see him in that scene, I really do feel that the Karathen has all the right weapons on his side. The claws, I feel like, are way better than the hands with the Kraken, even though I feel like he would have more mobility with the hands. And the Karathen has the size and the longer tails, and I feel that the head of the Karathen, I feel that the sharp horns on the Karathen are tougher than the head of the Kraken. So while as much as I really do like the Kraken and think that he is a formidable force, I really do think the Karathen would get the win in this fight. I don't know if either of these creatures really could die, but I do think the Karathen would dominate this fight more, but I do feel like he would be more likely to win in this fight. But as always, let me know down below who you think will win in this matchup, and let me know if you think this matchup was fair. I know it's very difficult because the Kraken has had so little screen time, and I'm really just basing it off this movie, but make sure you let me know down below what you thought of this matchup, and thanks for watching.